Why isn't the chat working? Okay. Is it working? Ah, there we go. We'll do this about 8:45. I am like mentally drained after doing my exam. Like I just made it. You have no idea. You guys literally have no idea. Like I am like dead. But before I even start, like there's so many medications that Pfizer carries that I had on my exam. I mean, you can literally look at me. I'm like barely talking. But it's really exciting just to see what Pfizer carries and all the medications and everything. The other thing is like there are very good dividend stocks out there. I got like coursework I have until next summer, and then I do my clinical rotations and stuff. So it's really interesting. I'm gonna like try to get our crowd going and stuff, get more people on here. Whew. Give it about 5 more minutes. It's like raining over here. I want to get more people on here. No, I'll probably be on here for a while. Actually, there's a lot of good dividend stocks. I had a big dividend stock argument with someone. They were trying to tell me that AG&C was better than Arbor Realty Trust. And this guy's like, I'm worth $5 million. It's kind of like, I don't give a shit. Like, all you have to do is read the graph, dude. I don't care. You want to talk about fundamentals and this and that. Like, give me a break. I don't care how much you're worth. Like, why would you want to invest in a stock that decreases its dividend? I thought that was pretty funny. But he was just trying to convince me that I don't know what I'm talking about. I thought it was quite entertaining all day. And we'll give it a few more minutes. Just got to get more people on here. I will get that Roth going. That's going to be a guarantee. Not now. I'm going to wait till I get my other sign-on bonus. They're like begging for me to stay. Guess what? Old blue uniforms are coming back to my hospital system from my previous hospital, so I'm pretty pumped up for that. Yeah, it's gonna happen. Connor, you got a Roth? What's some hot stocks you got in your Roth? What, we got 5 people on here? That's pretty damn good. Got about a few more minutes. I'm just on my Facebook group right now. Give it a few more minutes. You know what's funny? Somebody messaged me, like told me I'm like way too white. I thought it was pretty funny, like just because of the lighting. That somebody mentioned in the comment section I look like a crack addict. And I really had a conversation with Dividend diplomats who I know in real life. We were just discussing like comments that people made. Hey, what's up, Greg? The comments that people made and that we had, like one comment they said with Dividend diplomats, I'll never forget this. They said he was anorexic. So I cracked a joke with him when I ran into Lanny, and that was pretty funny. The hate mail is pretty funny on that you get on here. Somebody asked me that because I'm not for AGNC and Prospect Capital that I was a virgin. I thought that was pretty funny. All right, I'm going to put my air conditioning on real quick. Actually, pretty warm over here. I have like my lecture. I'm going to read actually some of the medications from my lecture that I had to study for too. It's actually really interesting. Like these medications that they carry, it's pretty in-depth medications that are pretty serious. People that have like very heavy antibiotic resistant medications. These are medications I hang all the time in the hospital, and I had no idea that Pfizer carried them. And I started looking at that, and I'm like, all right, let me go to the Pfizer website. And I was like, holy cow, I couldn't believe what they carried. This is just antibiotics. I mean, it's crazy. So I'll give it like 2 more minutes, and we'll discuss dividend stocks after that. So I'm totally fine with that. We can do a quick live stock and dividend analysis, and have some fun. I mean, we can do this for about an hour, like we did last time. That was a lot of fun. I mean, I'm almost near 5,000 subscribers. It's pretty exciting. So I'm going to give it 1 more minute. No, that's one that I'm actually looking into, to be honest with you. There's a lot of pharmaceutical stocks I'm looking into. GlaxoSmithKline, I'm going to probably buy. I can almost guarantee that one, and I'm very excited. I'll probably discuss those guys shortly, especially with the mRNA technology. I think it's very strong. All right, so I'm going to start right now. What is going on, this YouTube Nation? This is Darth Dividend. If you guys are new to my YouTube channel, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss future videos. So I am like mentally exhausted after taking this exam. I had antibiotics, very like crazy scenarios worth of antibiotics, and a lot of psych medications. And what really was brought to my attention was Pfizer stock. I could not believe at how many medications, antibiotics that Pfizer carries. I mean, I'm going to go through a very small list of just some of these antibiotics. I'll tell you in detail they carry. Literally, this is what I had to study for. I had numerous papers. If you looked in the background of me just preparing for my exam, I mean, you can tell I'm already exhausted. But I had papers everywhere. I mean, there's papers on the ground here and all and everything. I mean, I just got done. And literally, it's a great feeling to be done, but it's amazing at how many medications that Pfizer carries and what they carry to their arsenal, which makes them a great dividend stock. So some of these medications, I'm just going over antibiotics right now. These are not even just psych meds. And some of the medications that they carry are, things that I hang. Now, I have pushed, beta blockers. I really did emphasize a lot of the products that they carry that are beta blockers, labetalol. And I did emphasize that there's going to be a very big shortage on medications, blood pressure medications, because the demand's going to be so high. But here's just some antibiotics that they carry. And I mean, I'm just going through this. Very hardcore antibiotics that they carry. Some of them, I'm just looking at just what they carry. Some of them are very broad spectrum antibiotics. That's like basically you're screwed in the hospital, you're septic, you have a very bad infection, and it's like we're just gonna give you this and see what happens. So some of the medications, let me just go through here that they carry. I have these written down just to make sure that I'm accurate with the products that they carry. One of them is piperacillin, and that is a 4th generation penicillin. That is basically, they have a thing called a beta lactamase inhibitor. So there are beta lactamase resistant antibacteria, and this is a very broad spectrum penicillin. I'm going to tell you, working in the hospital, this is the generation that's 4th generation, very powerful antibiotic. It goes against gram-negative aerobes, covers most anaerobes, and some gram-positive coverage. So this is like the last line almost for defense. If you go through the 1st generation, that's more narrow spectrum. Broad spectrum is like it's life or death. You just don't know what you have until you do blood cultures. So piperacillin is a very important medication that they carry. Another one that they carry is, I'm just looking through this. They have so many medications. I'm trying to be as simple as possible. What's another one? Meropenem. This is a carbapenem, and it's very broad spectrum. This is people that are unstable and septic. I don't know if you guys know what septic means, but these are people like their blood pressure is dropping, their heart rate's dropping. They're in big trouble, and they got to do something fast. And this is used for serious infections. This has excellent tissue penetration, including cerebral spinal fluid. So to get to the cerebral spinal fluid, it's very difficult. And this is a very good medication that will penetrate the cerebral spinal fluid. So that's very important. People that have meningitis or other medications, that's a very important medication. And you need to penetrate the cerebral spinal fluid, because what happens if you're septic in that area? Another medication that I'm looking at right now, I'm just going to be very basic with these guys, is, let me just find one that's pretty straightforward. Gosh, I'm looking at everything. Azithromycin. Gee, how many times have you had azithromycin, or were you, pretty sure that's one of them. Yes, that is one of them. And how many times were you prescribed that when you have an upper respiratory infection? You go to the doctor and you just get that. Either that's IV or that's orally. So they give you a Z-Pak. Have you ever heard of a Z-Pak? So that's a very popular medication that they carry. So a lot of these are some very powerful medications that I really want to talk about. Zyvox is another one. That is like, holy cow, that is like the last wave of antibiotics. This one, like, it goes after so many things, but you have to be careful. This is people that actually have, I'm going to list you just some of the bugs it goes after. So vancomycin resistant medications, community acquired pneumonia, hospital acquired pneumonia. These are the big time bugs that we worry about. These are, and don't forget, multi drug resistant tuberculosis. TB is a bad bug. And I tell you what, you can't be on antibiotics for about 6 to 8 months being on these type of medications. These are heavy hitters. These are ones that you need to be careful of if you take. And these are the bugs you don't want. So these are some heavy hitters that Pfizer carries. So I'm just saying, it's not just the vaccine that Pfizer carries. It's not just Viagra. It's not just blood pressure medications or beta blockers. These guys carry a whole arsenal of medications that are extremely powerful. That, this is the last wave. Another one is metronidazole, aka Flagyl. These are people that have C. diff. They do have Zosyn is the other name for piperacillin. Yes, that's a similar one. That is a powerful one. I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to check if they carry Maxipine. But yes, that is another antibiotic. Let me double check on that one, because there's so many meds that they carry that are, hold on. Yes, they do. They do carry the other medicate. The other word is Maxipine, and that is one that's, these medications. It's incredible how many things they carry, and just being in the hospital, these things are so resistant now that you have to be extremely careful with the therapy that you do. And I'm telling you, it's not stupidity of people or wars that are going to kill people. It's the bugs. Now, you look at, in the United States, over 600,000 people died of, COVID. Now you can argue, okay, maybe it was an overdose, this or that, but, Pfizer did come through with their vaccine. So that's one thing to look into. And guess what? What else did they prescribe? Azithromycin with their regimen before they had the vaccine out. That was a big one. You just had to worry about, abnormal rhythms. They can call it QT intervals with medications. But, Pfizer carries a lot of medications out there that are very strong. And again, it's a 3.93% dividend yield, 39 cents per share is the yield. And so you get 39 cents and you just reinvest the dividends. This is a strong dividend stock that I'm very long on, and I feel very confident in that these guys will be very successful as a company. Yeah, you might be right with Viagra. I think you're right. I mean, I'm not going to, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but VTRS did do a spinoff. I'm more familiar because I just the things that I see in the hospital. I'm the blood pressure meds, the antibiotics. I'm very familiar with. FC, if you find a link or anything, feel free to post that. I mean, I'm not the type of person that gets offended if certain comments I made or something's not right. You can correct me if I'm wrong. I have no issue with that. I mean, it's some things. I mean, my head's like spinning being in graduate school, being not up to date with stuff, or something changes. But I'm okay with you guys correcting me. I'm not that type of person that gets pretty butthurt over stuff. But it's very interesting with pharmaceutical companies. I think the biggest thing with Pfizer, to be honest with you, is their statins and their blood pressure medications. Because one exam I took, before I took the exam, the rise, the demand in hypertension, according to research studies, 2030, they're saying that medications alone just on hypertension is going to be $200 billion. So I find that very interesting. I think at 9 o'clock we'll start discussing dividend stocks, because I really want to keep things open. A lot of people made a lot of comments and a lot of requests on medications. Yeah, that, you know what sucks being on M1 Finance? I was like, had my fingers crossed that I would be a part of those guys. But you know what happened? It automatically sold. And I was like, man, you got to be kidding me. So I was hoping I would have some VTRS and reinvest on there, but I'm gonna have to have it separate and go from there. So it's kind of a pain in the butt. It stings. It really does. I was hoping I would get VTRS in there. That's a good dividend stock. I mean, it's a very good dividend stock in the pharmaceutical industry. It's the future is bright with those guys. I think it's very. I mean, I'm going to tell you some rates, financial sector, and pharmaceutical. How can you go wrong with that? And defense stocks. I mean, they're still going to increase their dividend. They're going to be in demand. So that's one thing that I find very important. Yeah, that's undervalued. Wow. That is pretty undervalued. A 4.02. Now, I was just telling someone, I was in a big like Twitter argument, and somebody's like, well, AGNC's PE ratio is this. Well, gee, I wonder, explain to me why they decrease their dividend, because nobody wants them. And if you look at their business model, I mean, it was terrible. I mean, it's going to take a lot to convince me to jump ship and reinvest with AGNC. I sold them. I made a little bit of profit and I threw it into another dividend stock, and I'm not going to say no to that. I really am not. So it's very interesting. You got any what was the one? I'm going to type this one. Somebody tipped me off with this stock. What is it? Here we go. I got one for you. Got one right here. Somebody made a comment about it. VC Properties Incorporated. So how do you feel about that one? Trying to get everything going. Yeah, I mean, it's down. It's one that's on my radar, and yeah, it's very hot. I saw a lot of people making posts about it, either on YouTube or on other channels and Twitter, and I was like, ooh, it's not bad at all. What about? I want to see what you guys think. I want a response real quick. Are you buying AGNC? Because I'm telling you, I had a huge argument. I'm avoiding that one. I want to see what you guys think with this stock. Yeah, that's how I feel. I mean, people, I hope I'm wrong. I mean, I don't want to see people lose money with um, AGNC. It's just the way it's set up. I mean, my best analogy with AGNC is, when people look in the outside, I like to call these people poison, like a black widow. They look so attractive on the outside, but in the inside, they are just toxic and poisonous. They just suck the life out of you. And that's what reminds me of AGNC. You put money in, okay, it just decreases over time. It's like those people that, you meet out in public and they claim, I'm a model, I'm an Instagram model. That's all they care about, and they're narcissistic, and they just decrease and decline in value because they're not as good looking in the future. And the outside, they look very attractive, but the inside, they're just toxic. That's exactly how I feel. And they just suck the life out of you. They're draining, nasty. You don't want to be a part of it. That's exactly what I think of AGNC. The other one, what's that other one? NLY? I mean, come on. Why would you want to be a part of NLY? Another one that just decreases dividend. I mean, look, when I post videos, I really want to keep it real and just show you the dividend trends in the past 5 to 10 years. Sometimes I go over revenue-wise with the increase. And, that's kind of what I go over when I do, stock and dividend analysis videos. Got any good rates? Anybody? Saw Ethos Investing gave me a like. Are you on here, Ethos? Come on, Ethos. I know you're on here. I'll promote you in 5 seconds. Trying to message him right now. We'll get him on here. Yeah, Abbvie, I mean, it's incredible like how good those guys are. Yeah, I like WPC Carry. That's one of my favorite stocks. I really sold a big dip uh, I bought a dip on EAT, and then I ended up buying a lot of WPC Carry. How can you say no to that? So I'm going to try to get Ethos Investing on here. I literally like messaged him. Dude, so Munchin, let me tell you something about Medtronic. People are getting sicker. I mean, I have these guys. I bought it when it went sky high. Medtronic is an incredible dividend stock, quarterly dividend stock. I can't afford it right now, but do you know how many pacemakers they put in? Medtronic pacemakers, just pacemakers alone. That's enough to say, I mean, look, people are getting sicker. People's ejection fractions are getting lower because they're sicker and they don't take care of themselves. And if your heart's overworking itself, what do you think happens with your ejection fraction? Doesn't go too well. And Medtronic is a product that, in a company that has done so well. And I mean, I work on a step down floor. I can't even tell you how many times I take care of patients. They're one of the easiest patients too. Don't get me wrong, but they get a pacemaker put in, and all you have to do is worry about antibiotics, keeping an eye on them, and the demand is going to be sky high with Medtronic. And I'm just talking about pacemakers. I mean, they have so many products, it is ridiculous. I'm just talking about pacemakers, the demand, because people are getting sicker. And the baby boomers are getting worse. I mean, that's just what's happening, unfortunately. But Medtronic's a fantastic company. Anybody that talks negative about Medtronic, they're crazy. I'm going to tell you that right now. I got one that's really sky high is a dividend stock, Anthem. That is a sky high dividend stock. I mean, that one is just blowing up like crazy. I don't know. I can't keep up with it. That's probably Roth IRA material. But I'm yawning. That's how exhausted I am. But Anthem is a pretty good dividend stock if you can afford it. That's a solid one. And everybody's going live. I mean, I would join all my friends and their groups, but geez, I'm like reading my Twitter. So Omega Healthcare investors, I feel very confident. A lot of the healthcare rates, I mean, the demand for healthcare is unbelievable right now, and there's nothing you can do. It's just people are getting sicker. People are getting more prone to injuries because they're sicker. Diabetes, hypertension, hypercholesterol. All these issues are a problem. It's only getting worse because the mentality of complacency is, it's okay. It's okay to be diabetic. It's okay to be overweight. And that's not okay because, I mean, you can give all these lectures you want to patients. People are still going to smoke. That's why British Tobacco and Altria and Philip Morris, that's why they're still successful. They can give all these warning signs whatsoever, and they're still going to be fine. People are still going to smoke. Look, I cannot tell you how many patients I would discharge and then readmit for COPD exacerbation. They smoke, they don't care. And it's sad to say, I can give them a lecture on how much they spend a year for cigarettes and how much they could put money in Altria or Philip Morris. They don't care. It's sad. I mean, I literally show them this statistics of how much, if you put $2,000 in Altria versus $2,000 in cigarettes a year, you're going to be making money. You're going to be sitting on your ass making money, and people don't get it. It's very sad, but that's just how it is in society. That's just the norm. It's very sad to say that. I mean, it's rough. I mean, it sucks. National Health Investors, that's another one. Medical Properties, MPW. I mean, those stocks, they're just going to get bigger. They're going to increase their dividend. It's sad to say. It really is because there's such a really good rate. But, if people took care of themselves, that would be a different story. It's very sad to even say that these guys are in demand. I would hope that people would take care of themselves, but it just doesn't happen. See, we got 8 people on here. Please be active. WPP Carry, great one. Stag Industrial. I do need to buy more. I need to buy more in Stag. That there's no doubt. American Tower. I need to look into that one. It's a very good stock. That's a good call. Munchin. That is a very good call in a lot of those stocks you own. I can imagine that many people own that. If I had enough, I'd buy IIPR. I absolutely love that stock. I do think maybe it should be around a 4 to 5% dividend yield, but who am I to say? They can do what they want, but that's the thing with rates is, remember, rates. No, they're not going to stop, Greg. They're not going to stop smoking. And BTI and these guys are going to adapt to the vaping industry. And do not forget that rates, about 90% of their so-called earnings that they have to come back to us. So, they get penalized if they don't. So they have to give it back to us. So that's the beautiful thing about rates. Rates are usually high yields and they're usually stable. But I will tell you, with investing with rich uncles, if this pandemic didn't happen, I'd probably make an extra $200 of passive income a month to be reinvested, but didn't happen. And the pandemic hit, so the rate was destroyed. But a lot of these guys that are public and have very strong portfolios, they're in pretty good shape. So that's the good thing about these rates. I mean, doesn't it kind of suck to say that people are not going to stop smoking? It's a shame. Yeah, Stag is they're so well diversified. I love these guys as a stock. I'm assuming, again, I'm not a financial advisor. This is just for entertainment purposes. Maybe in the next 5-10 years, do you see Stag as a stock split the way they're growing? I mean, it's crazy the way these guys have gotten so big. I see them in the $50 range in the future. I won't be surprised. Let's discuss our favorites. Agree Realty Corporation versus O. Agree Realty Corporation is more expensive than O. Well, Philip Morris, they're going to be fine. I mean, that's just how it is. I'm going to give a what's up. Give a smile to everyone. What's up? Now, O is the king of monthly, but dividend growth rate of ADC, I mean, ADC is so much smaller than O, but the growth rate is unbelievable. Do I think ADC will overtake O? No, I don't. But for the reputation of being the monthly dividend stock, but the board of directors made such a strategic move. It's interesting. I mean, you literally, I like to say with ADC and O, how many of you guys watch Lord of the Rings? And I'll never forget that scene where Saruman literally was given the speech of the Uruk-hai, new power is rising. and you had all those Urukai like pounding their sticks and stuff that like they were ready to go. ADC might do that, and that's what's crazy. You might have a new power literally overtaking O, and O should be shaking in their boots. Isn't that not crazy or what? It is unbelievable, like how ADC, the board of directors, what a strategic move, what a ballsy move. They said we're going to be a monthly dividend stock. And yeah, that is true. Look who's on here. Ethos Investing. I was trying to get you on here. Make sure you guys follow this guy. I follow him on Twitter and as well as Instagram. This guy is tight as hell. You guys got to follow him. I love this guy. Got him on here. We were in the chat. Yeah, I saw that with but Ethos, the big thing that's crazy is Abbvie Realty Corporation. This is making things interesting. I mean, their dividend growth rate is just crazy. They don't own as many properties as O. Actually, with rich uncles that I invested in, like one of their key guys left O to rich uncles, and if rich uncles, if this pandemic didn't hit, oh my gosh, we'd have probably about 25 properties versus like 7 or 8, and things would have blown up with that monthly dividend rate. But it is what it is, and we all take risks. I just ADC, it's just crazy. They're like, how would I say this? It's like Georgia creeping up on Alabama in college football. It's slowly starting to happen. And eventually, when Saban leaves, Georgia's going to be the top dog. It's very interesting. I mean, you could see it. It's just slowly getting there. But, I mean, here's the thing, Ethos. Who's going to say no if O is stagnant at $67 and Abbvie Realty Corporation is $73, $74, and O just keeps on increasing? Dude, they're scary. I mean, I would love to interview those guys and go live on here, because once I started just looking at the trends and looking what their portfolio is, holy cow. I mean, these guys are a force. I mean, if I can get one of these guys to be on here, I would do it in 5 minutes and just do a interview. Because I was in a big Ethos. I was in a big Twitter chat. We were talking about monthly dividend stocks. And I said, hey, if you guys notice Abbvie Realty Corporation, they're going to be a rival to O. Some people started to laugh, and I said, no, they're more expensive than O, and their dividend has increased faster than O. There was silence. There's a complete silence for 2 minutes. And everybody all of a sudden said, who the hell are these guys? Everybody was like, it was like a panic button. Everybody couldn't believe, people don't know about these guys. The board of directors made the call. It was such a strategic move. I mean, I have to give complete kudos to these guys for being ballsy and saying we're going to be a monthly dividend stock, because they might have started the trend with being a monthly dividend stock, and more stocks may have to adapt to that. I think it's very interesting. It is unbelievable with these guys. They're smaller. They're like that. My answer, Munchin, is both. I'm going to buy both of them. I own both of them. I like both of them. I'm not going to say anything bad about both of them. I'm just going to continue to reinvest in both of them. That's my answer with ADC and Store. But again, with O being cheap, Store Capital, that's another stock I totally capitalized on with the dip. Absolutely love that. No, I think you're totally right, Ethos. It's a very good conservative move. But I myself being 35, I want to be aggressive. And, I'm going to buy more of Agree Realty Corporation. I'm going to tell you, there are dividend investors, Ethos, that I joke around called Gen X, master, because he kind of grilled me and really um, educated me. I didn't pay a dime, but I would be in group chats with him or something on his Discord. We really discussed stocks, and I really got with his attention. I mean, this is a guy that has almost a $2 million portfolio. He's listening to a kid that, and I'll call myself a kid, that has a $13,000 Fundrise portfolio, about a $22,000 dividend portfolio on M1 Finance, and I forget how much I have on E-Trade. But Agree is a very powerful one. You know what? I can't wait for is when I get to 7,000 followers on Twitter. All you guys can be active. We can all discuss dividend stocks. I think it'd be a lot of fun. I have very good dividend investors on there. Just stocks. I'm telling you, get me to 700 followers. I'm almost at 400, but my gosh, the discussions we can have. I mean, ADC versus O, and some of these other stocks. I mean, I would love to be in a debate with someone. Tell me that AGNC is there. I think it was a very good strategic move by O to get varied, and it's very interesting. And O is so well diversified. I mean, if you look at their portfolio on their website, it is incredible how well diversified they are as a monthly dividend stock. It's almost like it's recession proof and pandemic proof. And I really think that these guys are strong. I mean, they're strong. So is Agree Realty Corporation. But it's crazy how close Agree Realty Corporation and O are with compounded annual growth rate and everything. It's very interesting. Now, can you say no to owning both of those? It's very crazy. Ethos, what is your stock to buy right now? Give me three of them. Who I'm getting Snapchat messages from people in my nurse practitioner program. They didn't do too well. That's a good one. KMB. That's one that's on my radar. No, KMB I think is a good one. Gosh, this ad. Do you have Jeppy at all? Or Nusi Ethos? So what is your number one ETF that you own? What is your favorite monthly dividend ETF that you own, Ethos? How can you go wrong with VYM? Yeah, I got Devo and Nusi. I have to thank GW for that one. You know, I like ETFs. I was QYLD. It's a risk. I mean, it will jump kind of up and down. SCHD is a good one. DGRO is a good one. I'm not gonna argue that one. That's gonna slowly increase. What about SPHD? That's a big one that everybody wants to talk about. SPHD. That's a tough one. I mean, I own that one and had to get rid of it. I wasn't feeling it. No, I don't either. I'll be right back. Give me about a minute. I'm gonna grab another beer. No. The other thing is people just literally knocked on my door like, "Do you want to party?" I'm like, "I got to work tomorrow." Like, I wish. And when you have a bunch of hotties at the pool, that's always a plus, but you got to behave yourself sometimes. But another one, with SPHD, the thing about SPHD, if you look at these stocks, they call themselves a high dividend, low volatility. Dude, you have no idea. There's one girl that was trying to get with me, and it's like, no. What are you doing at 3:45 in the morning Eastern time? What do you do as a job? Oh, I had to wake up at like 5:45 for my shift being a nurse. But SPHD, the big thing with those guys, some of their high dividend, low volatility stocks, like First Energy. I have to deal with First Energy here being in Ohio. That's one big stock that they own, and those guys are a juggernaut in the East Coast. They're actually a 4 to 5% dividend yield stock. So FE is their symbol. I actually put them in my portfolio, and they had a bunch of heat. They got a bunch of trouble because of Larry Householder with corruption issues, but they have increased their dividend over time. And, that's one thing to look into with these guys. First Energy is a stock. I hate these guys as a company. I mean, they'll double charge me, in the winter, and I can't do anything. I'm stuck. what am I going to do? You know, that's just how they are. And they're so powerful in this area. It's so sad, but I can't let my emotions get the best of me. They're just a very strong dividend stock. Let's find out what somebody said, but never mind. Somebody didn't do too well in the exam. They just sent me a response, so hopefully we'll get a nice curve on it. But yeah, it's you're at the will of First Energy. Another one is Lumen Technologies. That's on a high dividend, low volatility ETF. I don't like the expense ratio either. That's one. So Pembina Pipeline, I own it. Love it. Absolutely love it. That's on my dividend portfolio. Yeah, but I got to put up with it, Munchin. Nick, what's up? Probably do more of these live. I mean, a lot of you guys that have channels. I mean, Ethos has a channel. I'll have to do a collaboration with you in the future. That'll be a lot of fun. Better get to bed, dude. Jeez Louise. Yeah, I love Pfizer. I mean, I just did a big lecture on their antibiotics, just antibiotics. And I mean, my gosh, some of their psych meds and Prozac and all these medications. I took that on there, and it sucks. I mean, it was a shitty exam. Nice. I mean, I'm a bike rider, but Instagram me, message your bike and stuff. Definitely, for sure. I got to see it. You got a lot of chrome and stuff, ethos. That's another one. Yeah, I'm glad I'm single, so I can do what I want. Just put money into investing and stuff. I like Energy Transfer. I just sold it and threw it into my cover call ETN. I'm gonna probably put Energy Transfer in my M1 Finance portfolio. Oh, okay. There's nothing wrong with a mountain bike. I was one of those kids that had a dyno bike. Remember those dyno bikes back in the day? All those kids had to have it like in the mid 90s. Yeah, I was one of those kids. I have no issues being single, happy, and free. Welcome to the crowd. I mean, it's hard to find someone. It really is. God, go, the funny thing is going over these medications and stuff. I'll tell you guys something funny. I did some online dating the past year or two, 2018, 2019, 2020, and I cannot tell you how many first dates I've had with girls that told me what drugs they took and medications. And I'm like, looked up what medications they took, and a lot of them were Pfizer medications. So it really brought my confidence in Pfizer stock. I mean, people are telling me I take venlafaxine and I take this and that. I'm like, okay, makes me want to buy more Pfizer stock. I mean, there's people out there, Greg. It's you just got to be smart. There's good apps out there. I mean, I can't date right now. Every week's a new battle. Yeah, it's gonna do pretty well. I mean, to be honest with you, I don't see that going downhill. I just see it going uphill. To be honest with you, it's a very good real estate investment trust, and I'm excited for EPR properties. That's a good one. That one uh, was a monthly dividend stock, and it stopped distributing monthly dividends because of the pandemic. And man, I made some good passive income from those guys. And I just bought the dip. I cannot wait for them to go back and come back to normal and distribute monthly dividends. That's going to be very nice for my dividend portfolio on E-Trade. Have a good one, Ethos. We'll have to do a collaboration video sometime. Munchin, just remember these pharmaceutical stocks increase their dividends over time, and they're cheap. So you got Pfizer that's cheap, and they increase their dividend over time. There is nothing wrong with that. It's like, oh, if O is like $67 consistently and they're up to 25 cents a share, I'm totally for it. I mean, Pfizer is dirt cheap. That's a nice thing. VTRS, dirt cheap. So that's something that people need to capitalize on. Nick, I was in a big argument with some people on social media about Arbor Realty Trust and AGNC. It's like Monty Python, the quest for the Holy Grail. It's like that Black Knight. You chop off the legs and arms, and he still says there's a fight in them. This person tried to convince me that ABR was inferior to AGNC, and there's no chance. It's like, dude, really? In the past 5 years, who was winning? Who was increasing their dividends, and who is increasing their price per share? This dude, he wouldn't agree with me at all. I mean, I feel like it's Stuart Scott and Shannon Sharp arguing. I would love to be in a debate with him on Twitter. That would be a good argument conversation. Oh my gosh, you had no idea how much money I put in ABR. I need to get to 100 shares in those guys. Yes. AbbVie with the dividend is solid. And that's one thing with Abbvie. I do need to get those guys in the next probably year or so. Once I start generating a lot more passive income, I can guarantee you that Abbvie is going to be on there. and it's the high AbbVie, IBM, 3M. How could you? Why would you say no to those guys? That's the big question. I mean, the dividend stock and the dividend yield. You're at 30 shares of what? ABR? Nick, you got ABR in your Roth? I mean, that's not a bad move. I mean, it's, how would I describe it? It's like a unicorn stock. Yeah, I mean, ABR is just, it's going to increase. That's got to be a little aggressive. I think that's a good move with ABR stock. I really like that one. I will 100% agree with you on that. I think I got like what, 40 or so shares. Absolutely love that stock, and yeah, I mean, it's just going to keep on going. Dude, people praise the business model of ABR. It's so well diversified. I mean, how can you say no to that? And we got about 6 people on here. It's pretty good. Give a shout out to everyone on here. Got a pretty good amount of people. All right. What about this stock? Everybody discussed this. AT&T, are you in or not? That's a big discussion. AT&T, yes or no? So I sold AT&T and moved it to Verizon, and I ended up buying more AT&T. I think maybe in the long run it might be okay, but these two I believe are better communication stocks than AT&T. I'm tired. Got to behave myself too. Have you guys checked out those communication stocks? Yeah, it's probably going to happen in a little bit. I mean, that's just how it is. Dude, I'm pumped for those dividends for Verizon. I mean, geez, how many shares do I have? 28. Well, my advice is you have to adapt, and that's just how it is.
Show of 5. That is right. This dirt cheap stock right now that was spun off from Merck. Merck being a large healthcare company that many dividend stock investors own. The spinoff is called Organon, ticker ORG.
Is Ian on here? You said PPC Ian. Is Ian on here right now? Do you know how fun that would be to do a collaboration video with that guy? Like, he was one of the people like that really inspired me to get on here and do that. Oh yeah, I was playing his video. I'm like, I saw he was live. I'll get him on here one of these days. I mean, maybe I'll do a collaboration video with him. I mean, I'm very excited to see him retire. I was just like looking at my feed, and yeah, it's very interesting. Like him, if I can get him and Gen X on here, I've been in group chats with like Tom and Gen X, like when I did live before, but I should probably do a collaboration with Ian. I'm going to do one with Dividend Diplomats. I don't know if you guys know, but like Lanny and Bert, I know those guys in real life. And once they get to 10,000, we'll probably do a like a collaboration video with like wrestling. It'll probably be pretty funny. I think you guys would like that. Just looking through my like feed and stuff, I'm like, is that Ian? I'm like, what is he doing? He's live right now. Just going to try to get him on here. Did you guys see my video with Lanny that I did? So I knew Lanny and Bert, mostly Lanny, since the grade school days. I went to Holy Family in Stowe. So him and I, actually his brother Matt and I were in the same grade school class in 2000, Holy Family in Stowe. Lanny was like 2 grades behind me. And Lanny was someone, it's like, he was so sharp. It's like, you know, Malcolm in the Middle. He's like the Malcolm in the whole family. Like Brandon's very smart. Brandon graduated in accounting. Matt, you know, has his degree. He's doing stuff. But like Lanny was like so smart. And my neighbor, who was a professor at Akron U, even when I would come home, I would just chat with her. I'm like, hey, you know, one of my friends, Lanny's in your class for the master's in accounting. She goes, it's my best student. Her and her husband were professors. And, oh, dude, I think we might do a power bomb through a table or something. And, yeah, I know. Like we only did shorts. I was trying to get like a 50-second video with Lanny to say we're going to discuss like wrestling or something. We're trying to get Lanny's younger brother to start being a dividend investor. I think it'd be a lot of fun, you know, to have him and Bert and those guys. I mean, all of us originators from the 330. I think it would be a lot of fun doing videos with those guys, because it's incredible how, like, I'm going to tell you, like, what was it? Maybe 2018 I started investing. It's 2019. Let me think. 2019. Did I have to work the 4th? I'm trying to think. I know 2020 I didn't because of the pandemic, but you know, I picked up instead. But yeah, it was. You know, I started discussing stocks, and he looked at me like, I was like, oh yeah, I'm invested in this and that. And he kind of gave me a weird look, like, why are you in that? Kind of condescending look. And I started improving. And then I saw Lanny on Instagram, Dividend Diplomats, and just looked up the name and I'm like, Lanny and Bert. So I Facebook messaged him because real life, Facebook, I go, are you Dividend Diplomats? So I went by in the 4th of July, stopped by because his brother was in my grade school class. And I always have a tradition, stop by, bring a case of very good IPAs, say what's up to the family. Very happy they're doing so well and healthy and happy and stuff, post pandemic. And literally, he called me Darth Dividend. I'm like, trying to hide, like, don't call me that. Somebody called me that in the pool. It's a big time investor. It was pretty drunk. I'm like, I try to hide, and it's very fun, just seeing people grow and very successful people grow. I think that's a special thing about this dividend investing community and stuff. It's very fun. Yeah, there's banks, they're going to merge. Things are going to happen. I always say take it to the bank, and it's crazy how banks are strong. That's just how they're going to be, and they're not going anywhere. So TCF Financial, are they acquiring them, or is TCF acquiring them? That's a big question. FC, my nickname in grade school was, I forgot to mention, like hardcore, kind of like the Dudleys. Maybe that might have to be a revelation as to why, but it was, I think it had to do with wrestling back in the day. So it was quite entertaining. That's the thing about banks. I mean, they're just going to acquire people and just get bigger. I mean, Huntington Bank shares is down. They're cheap. I mean, my gosh, I got them when they were so low with a dip, and I sold them for the rates. They were still down, and I don't regret that. And it's amazing at how banks either acquire people or get sucked in, and that's going to be the norm. So I crack jokes with people. If I get to 10,000 followers, I may have to go live and drink a White Claw. I absolutely hate White Claw whatsoever. There's 2 times I will drink a White Claw. One is to get to 10,000 followers, and if Ohio State wins the national championship in football, I may have to do that live. Well, why would be concerned about market correction? Because we can just buy the dip. And if the financial sector, the rates take a big dip, we'll buy more. If it happens, it happens. You got to have the strike money, as I always say. I mean, that's the big issue is big deal if the market corrects. We're dividend investors. We're in here for the long run. So things are very strong in the long run being a dividend investor. They got KO. I'm okay with that. I don't know. We'll have to make a request with dividend diplomats once they get to 10,000. That'll be a lot of fun. Once it, I'll definitely post the video on here on my channel. I think that'd be a lot of fun. We'll do it live. Maybe I'll have them here, and who knows? Chug a beer or something. Like do Stone Cold chugging a beer. I mean, that would be a lot of fun, to celebrate with these guys getting 10,000 followers. I think that would be a lot of fun. So, you'll have to post on their wall about, them getting 10,000 and, power bomb through a table, rock bottom. Who knows? Stone Cold Stunner. We could do it to Bert or something like that. I think that would be a lot of fun. But it sounds like it's Rick. I don't know. You never know. I might get hit by a chair or something. They'll try to get me to take the bait and discuss really good dividend stock like Pfizer and stuff when I'm done with my semester. And you never know. I'll get hit by a chair or something. Maybe I'll get Sweet Chin music. You just never know with the collaboration video. But for my time, it is 10 o'clock. You guys have been fantastic on here. I'm going to post a video tomorrow on my dividends that came in. And, again, you guys are awesome. I'm almost at 5,000 subscribers. I'm really getting more active on this channel. And I really want to thank you guys for being active on here. Smash that like button. Spread the word. Once I get to 10K, we're going to be drinking coffee cups with the Darth Dividend logo. Probably say that AGNC sucks. I think that'd be a good trend. A little bit of ABR greater than AGNC. And we can all post that on social media. I think that'd be pretty funny. Piss those guys off. All those, yield trap investors, just to let them know what's going on. And thank you. I mean, wasn't the best, grade that I got, but it is what it is. And just got to keep on going. I'm not going to let this happen again. I mean, it's one of those things where you tell yourself it's not going to happen again. And I'm very laser focused. I mean, I got an A-. I blew my A. So I'm going to get back to that. I need to get back to my A. So it's just how it is. I mean, if you're laser focused, look, I have a channel. I really love doing these videos with you guys. And it's not going to stop me from doing these videos. I mean, I love doing this for you guys. It's fun. It really is. And very inspirational people in these chats. Very inspirational people that are followers. I mean, people that run circles around me that are dividend investors. It's a lot of fun doing this. It really is. And I'm going to keep on going. I mean, 10,000, 50,000, 100,000. I'm going to have some fun doing this. So it's just how it is. So you guys take care and have a good one.